how do you get corporate without having hair? Good morning. My name is Katinka. I'm the seamstress at the cottage and welcome back. We're going to talk about whips, some plans, and some orders that I finished. It's Friday, so that means it's Friday sews, and I'll talk about that a bit later. But let's start with the whips. I know some of you are having heat waves and are nice and warm, but over here in Cape Town, it's been raining, it's been cold, it's been raining some more, and then it's been cold some more. My workplace, we are back in my workroom. I'll do a tour later on, but first I'm going to finish this series where I tell you about how I put it all together. So wait for the tour. So I'm sitting here in my hand-knitted Cascade Eco jersey. I love this jersey. But this yarn piles like crazy. I literally are shaving off the little fluffs, which is everywhere. I don't know if you can see it. And taking off hands full of it all the time. But I still love it. So I need to knit one that is not piling as much because I really love this design. It's just a square, boxy jersey. I did shape the arms a little bit. Did I? Yeah, I did shape it a little bit. And then I just gave it a nice high neck. And it's big and loose and not too long because then it looks frumpy. But I love this jersey. Let's get to what I'm busy with. I started knitting because when it is cold and I am miserable, which I have, not because of the cold, just because sometimes I go through those stages, then I knit. And so I found some leftover yarns in my stash and I'm just knitting it up. So I'm now at the second round of leftover. This is one I spun and this is one that was left over from I don't know what, but I like it. And so I'm just knitting myself a little hat in stranded knitting. Let's take this out. In a standard stranded knitting thing, I'm doing some fleece at the top. I think that's what you call it. And I did a little pattern at the bottom. And I love how it's knitting up. It's looking so cute on my head. Let's put you down for a minute. I mean, isn't that cute? I love it. It is. And it's so nice and warm. Warm, important. So I don't feel the cold that much. I do get cold sometimes, but not that much. And so if I start saying it's cold, then it's cold. So the difference is temperature-wise, it's not that cold. But because our houses in South Africa is not made for the cold, it gets so cold in the houses. I was sitting here sewing the other night and I was actually making like little white clouds as I was breathing because it was freezing. And these were the things that I was making. So I had an order for some tights. The lady gave me her pair that she loves. So she likes wearing these ones for winter. It's just like velour or velvet, stretch velvet. And this is what I made her. Just going to put you down there for a minute. Not going to take them all out. I ended up making her 7 pairs of tights. It took me some time, about a day and a half, to finish it all, but it was a nice easy job and it is ready to go out. You just fold this properly because you always give your things back to the client in a good order. So it's been really nice to get back in my sewing room and to get going again. And I missed sewing for people. And I also missed making money from sewing for people. So this is the thing. I am not just a seamstress. I have different jobs because I've got ADHD and I get bored really quickly. So sewing used to be my full-time job, but now I take on the jobs that I really feel like. And so I sat down a while ago and I thought about the fact that I haven't been feeling like sewing for quite some time. I think it was because my sewing space wasn't sorted and because everything was in storage. And I've also realized lately it's because more than half of my stuff is still in England. And part of me doesn't really know how to get it here, my proper sewing machine, my proper overlocker. I'm borrowing an overlocker at the moment. So I still need to find a way to get it here because I can't send it. The postal system in South Africa is atrocious. And delivering DHL and those things are just unaffordable. It might be cheaper to just buy extra luggage and buy a ticket and go and fetch it. So I'm still praying about that one. But one of my other jobs is a bit more corporate. And so for that reason, I've realized I needed some better clothes. And even as a life coach, if you do business coaching, which I kind of specialize in, and then I also do trauma counseling and a bit of just how to cope with life. But for that, I can't walk around in tights and a piling jersey. You have to look the part. So after traveling for 2 years and half my clothes being in England at the moment, I really don't have the right clothes. I've got 2 things I can wear. And you can't wear the same thing every day unless you're Elon Musk or one of those guys and you have a uniform. I even think he doesn't have a uniform. Who was this redhead singer? I like his thing. You're beautiful. That song that he sings. Anyway, that guy, he has a white t-shirt and some pants that he wears, and he's got for 7 days or 10 days the same thing every day. But I don't want to do that. So I went into my stash, which I have been so glad to have back. Behind me, you can see some of it, and then there's some behind under here. But in my stash, I found my winter things, which I'd never made because when I was living in Kitts Beach in the Eastern Cape, it was never that cold. And also my lifestyle didn't really meet corporate so much. So I went through my stash and I found a few things. There's some more, but these are the things I want to work on first. So I found the linings also to match, which I'm very happy. So I don't need to buy anything. I even have the buttons and the zips. I need the zip for the skirt. So the first thing is this little piece of corduroy. And it is a beautiful quality. I think I got it, somebody threw it out from their granny's corduroy. So it's still the old one that is really good quality. It's cotton. And I want to make a waistcoat. I love wearing waistcoats. So I bought a burlap waistcoat pattern, cut it out. It had 180 pattern pieces. Not really, but it felt like it. And it's just, I don't want to have so many pieces when I make a waistcoat. So I've been going through my pattern stash. At one stage, a sewing shop near me where I was working part-time closed down. And I bought a lot of beautiful patterns for a really good price. So this Vogue Career Wardrobe by Tamotsu. Don't know who that is, but I love this. I love everything on this. I don't know if you can see. And I've made some of the things in the past, but I want to make the waistcoat. I'm just going to pull this down. Actually, look at this. And I think I could make everything in this pattern. It will be a good addition to my wardrobe because all of these things are back in fashion. It's 90s, early 2000s. And yes, they're back. The loose jacket, the waistcoats, everything. So let me not ramble about the waistcoats, but this is going to be a waistcoat. And there is enough fabric, and I do have extra lining for it over here. Then I have this beautiful piece that's a linen blend, a woolen blend. And there's not a lot, but there's enough for just under the knee a skirt. I don't like pencil skirts. I find them really restrictive. But, oh my goodness, I forgot about sewing books. This book is one of my favorites. There's another one about couture sewing techniques that I really want, but it is so expensive. It's like 1,500 rands at the moment. And if you buy it on Amazon, it's $300. So this is second hand. So I have this, and I'm going to work with this. And as I was going through it, I'll show you how to do the jackets. I want to do a tailor jacket. I've been wanting to do that for a long time, and I've decided it's the season to get going on that. So this book doesn't give you step by step, but it shows you different techniques, and then you can apply them. And I just want to find the skirt that I was looking at. And then they show you how, they don't show you completely, but there's a picture of how they interline the skirt and then have the hem facing thing. It's out of horsehair. I don't want to use horsehair, but I want to use twill tape. And so I want to make a beautiful A-line skirt. I have quite high boots. It comes to just under my knees. That's really beautiful, and that I can use. I've got that, and I've got a pair of brown boots, and that's what I have for corporate. So my brown boots are in Gauteng at the moment. So even that is not with me, which I like. Oh my goodness. I just need to get my wardrobe back with me. But in the meantime, I'm going to make myself some stuff. So that's the one thing I want to make. I think it will look so nice with the waistcoat, for example. I do have some beautiful tops that I've made, so I'm okay in that department. But I also have this beautiful Melton wool, which I've also had in my stash for a very long time. And it's thick, but it's not too thick. So if you look there, it's not too thick. So there's Claire Schaefer's Custom Couture Collection. I actually think this book was... Oh my goodness! This book was written by Claire Schaefer. And she has a pattern that I got years ago to make for someone. And I actually like this princess seams that I have on there. I'm going to make myself a blazer in this. I might make it a bit longer, more this length. So I have this McCall's pattern, and it's also quite well designed and explained. I find Vogue is often more technically better designed, and they fit better than McCall's, but I do love McCall's. So I will most likely combine these two patterns. I want to make myself a blazer. Not always, but I really have been looking at it, and that's something that I need in my wardrobe. I have like puffer jackets and jerseys. I love jerseys, but they don't look corporate enough. And for some of the things and for some of the places where I have to talk, I really have to look the part. And I've realized I'm not looking the part. I'm still not sure what to do with my head. I don't want to wear wigs. I really hate a wig. Or not hate it. I love how it looks, but I hate how it feels. So corporate just needs to be embraced with maybe a bandana, not a bandana, a nice headscarf, or I do have one nice hat, but it's quite warm. I'm still not sure about my head. That's something you don't have to think about if you have hair, is what do you do with your head? So how do you get corporate without having hair? I don't know. Do you have an answer for me? Do you maybe have a solution? I've never thought of it, because I've always they have to embrace me the way I am. So I am a free spirit and I'm going to look the part, and you can't always do that. So yes, that is something I'm really thinking about at the moment, is how to embrace the corporate part without looking hippie, and how do I do it without having hair? If you have any solutions, don't tell me to wear a wig. I'm not going to do that. I really don't like the feeling on my head. And how can you be present and do the work that you have to do if you are not feeling comfortable in your skin? That's a very, very important thing to consider when you wear your clothes. I was watching a thing recently. I can't remember who it was. And it was so interesting how she was speaking about how she made all these clothes, but she's not, and Carol from So Carol, and she was speaking about the fact that she's got these clothes, but she's not wearing it because she liked the idea, but it's not fitting her personality, it's not fitting her body shape, and it's so important to keep all those things. There's your ideal wardrobe, which you see in magazines. I remember I used to see all these wave-like models and think, oh, I want to wear that, what she's wearing. And then I would make it and I would never wear it because it doesn't work for my body. I don't have an hourglass. I don't have boobs. I look like a fat baby if things sit too tight. And that's always been the case. If I'm fat or not fat, that's just the way I'm built. So to find what works for your body. Now, if I look at this pattern, I know that the waist, it's too much. I will definitely make the waist not so taken in by just adding in on the waist parts. And like the skirt, I don't like a pencil skirt because I have a tummy, and then I don't have much of a waist, so they always fall down. I need to do skirts with elastic, or otherwise I have to wear a belt, or otherwise I have to make them too tight because I don't have anything going in my waist to keep the skirt up. So those are the things that I have to consider when I make clothes for myself. And so I want to challenge you. Look at what works for you and your body type and your body shape and even your colorings. I know I can wear black, but there's some people that looks terrible in black. It's quite important to start embracing the things that will work for your body, your lifestyle, your coloring, and enjoy if you see something pretty and beautiful on somebody else. And what I would also advise, I'm actually going to go to the shops in the next few months or weeks to go and fit on some blazers and to see what I really like. And then I don't waste money or time on making, this, by doing a couture jacket, most of it happens by hand. So it's a big time investment to not wear it in the end. And so for that reason, it's worth doing my research. Another exciting thing that's ahead of me, before I can start on this, is my birthday is coming up and we are going to have so much fun. It's one of the first times I'm going to be with my sister again. And as I said to you before, we're triplets. The one is not coming, but the one I'm living with, we're going to have a ball. And in Cape Town, there's all these things you can do for free. So you can go on the cable car for free up the mountain. You can go to the aquarium for free. If you download the apps, you can get like cake from Magambine. You can get a coffee from another place. So we're going to actually, as a fun experience, download all those apps and go and get all the freebies for our birthday. So that's one of the things we're looking forward to because it's a fun thing. My friend's coming, Jay is coming to visit with us, and my sister also have a friend that's coming. So we are going to have so much fun. But then the day after our birthday, I need to pack up the car and go and make 2 evening dresses for a friend of mine. The one I showed you, the things I made before, because she's got 2 occasions where she needs evening dresses. And with firstly, my dressmaker's form is still in pieces on the floor. I need to repair her. She's antique and she needs a bit of love. But she works perfectly for when I do drape and make things. And secondly, if you make an evening gown that needs to really stand out, you have to be with the person you make it for. So I used to do when I have made prom dresses, the kids would be in the area and they would come for fittings about 2 or 3 times. So I'm just going to have a marathon sewing session for about 8 days with my friend, and then the one needs to be done and the other one I will bring back and finish it over here because she needs it a week later. And yes, that is all my plans for the next while, and I'm excited. From you, I want to find out what is the thing you want to make but you've never been brave enough. I want to make a tailored jacket. I've made lots of jackets, but I've never followed the full tailoring techniques. And I really want to do that. I want to pad the top part here. I want to do the shoulder pads. I want to do the pad stitching in the front and the back, and some on the shoulder so it fits better. Put in the sleeves by hand if you do a tailored jacket. And all of those techniques I want to follow, and I actually want to have a jacket in the end that I will wear, but also that I can look at and think, I've made that. For my final year at school, we did make a jacket, but we didn't learn any of those things. I said we were making a proper jacket, and it looked like a proper jacket, but we didn't follow any of the tailoring techniques. We basically just sewed it. And there's a difference between home sewing and tailoring. Home sewing, you use a lot more your sewing machine, and with tailoring, a lot of the things are made by hand. That is the next adventure I want to get submerged in. So what is your next adventure? I would really be interested if you can leave some comments and tell me about that. Back to Friday Sews. It's a hashtag that was started, by Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room. Thank you, Jen. I love how it brought the sewing community together and how we can find different people who has the same passion through that hashtag. So that is me for today. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, I would love if you subscribe. Oh my goodness, I forgot. Thank you to all of you. I've recently reached 4,000 subs and I am so thankful. It's so lovely to have conversations with you in the comments and to chat to you like you're my best friend. Because that's something also I've realized with traveling and all the things. I have some good friends, but I don't always have people to chat to. And people who understand what I talk about. My sister, she listens, but she's like, okay. And I can see lights on, there's nobody there because she doesn't find sewing interesting. So chatting to you about sewing and sharing my sewing adventures and even my life adventures has been so helpful. It literally took me out of a place of isolation where I felt like I was totally on my own and people are just on the peripheral, where I feel community. And each of you, even if I don't see your sweet little face or chat to you face to face, those comments really means a lot. And I really read each and every one and I try to answer all of them. And I want to thank you for that. I'm really going to say goodbye now. If you haven't subscribed yet, I would love it if you join this community. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.